We have 1 minute prior to the New York opening. Let me make sure I'm going to alert all members. So quick recap, 3, 2, 1, and New York open. I was thinking about going short here on the inversion fair value gap, but I removed my position prior to the New York open because it felt a little bit too risky. Hoping price is not just going to run away, but if it wants to, can feel free to do so. We can quickly recap this morning's London session price action. I mean, right here on the Discord server, if we take a look at it, inside the London live chat that we do every morning during London kill zone mornings for me. Right here, I shared my higher time frame ideas, and then, well, I spotted the SMT divergence with the S between the S and NQ, waiting for the 5-minute fair value gap to enter, targeting longs. And, well, because we moved a lot, I wanted to make sure to get in at least with one partial position, using 125 US dollars in risk, entering on the inversion fair value gap, targeting VWAP, which was hit well rather quickly. Well, where do we have it? Right here. This was my trade. We just kept on going higher from here. That's just part of the game. I'm here to scalp. I'm not here to swing trade. Trades like these where price just continues to rally and hits all your buy side targets from the low of the day all the way back up to the high of the day, those are rare and don't happen every single day. And I'm not here to pick which day it's going to happen. I'm just doing the same thing every day with consistency, and yeah, that's essentially it. Not here to hold on for these monster swing trades for a 5-to-1 risk reward every day, because I'm aware that the probability of this happening is smaller than the probability of me hitting my simple 1.69 risk reward. Actually 2-to-1 risk reward trade. That's why I closed it on my funding pips account. So this was this morning's trade. Played out very nicely. Ever since, all we really did was, let me turn on the ICT all-in-one here, move back above the previous day's low right here, inside a 4-hour bearish fair value gap. If I'm correct, that should be the 4-hour bearish fair value gap. We almost reached the 50% level. We filled in all 1-hour bearish fair value gaps right here. Looking at the 15-minute time frame, this thing looks like it wants to, well, roll over and take out some sell side liquidity. That's currently what I'm aiming for, but I'm not in a rush. Already made profits this morning, so, well, yeah, not going to force anything. Let's take a look at the S&P. The S&P is actually continuing higher. Let's see. Are there any questions or anything you want to share ahead of the New York session? Feel free to do so. Just put it in the chat. Let me quickly hide the 4-hour time frame stuff here. So right now we already see some sort of SMT divergence between the S and NQ. Bearish SMT at the highs. Similar to what we saw this morning. NQ just tapped the VWAP. NQ made the lower low this morning, while ES made the higher low, which gave me enough confirmation for me to go long. I was already in a short position, as you can see from my closed positions right here. I already was in a short. I closed at that break even, decided not to engage prior to the opening. My entry was right here on the inversion, my take profit target right here at the slow. So it would have played out nicely, but well, the chances of it wicking and taking out buy side one last time before actually continuing low were just too high. So I decided to wait. For ES, if we're looking forward to follow NQ's lead here, I would like to see a definite close below the 5-minute bullish fair value gap here before I short any of this. We have some nice sell side liquidity. Taking a look at the cumulative volume profile, that's also matching up with our short idea. But I'm going to be waiting for the 5-minute inversion fair value gap here on ES before I do anything. NQ already cleared these sell side liquidity pools. While ES is still holding up above this consolidation box here, right here, you see that? This is also what conveyed me in taking the short, if we look at this. And let's just use the volume imbalance template. We have a accumulation, a manipulation, a inversion fair value gap, and we had lower. That was my plan. But, well, the timing wasn't aligned correctly, and I was too scared of getting wigged out here. Essentially, what happened on ES could have easily happened on NQ here. That's why I decided not to engage prior to the opening. Unfortunately, the opening just ran away on NQ. But we've seen that same thing. Let's go over here on ES. The little consolidation range prior to the manipulation up higher. One last stop hunt. Now ideally a inversion fair value gap right up here for me to short from, like this. Stop loss should really be above the high, which would really mess up the risk to reward ratio, not gonna lie. Let me take a look at the cumulative volume data on NQ. No, that's matching up. Shorts are definitely in control. If we even get it. Otherwise, I'd be looking forward to long NQ because of the bullish SMT divergence that we've just seen. Yes, not showing weakness. NQ might on 1 minute time frame. We'll see. We'll see. Gonna take it slow. Watch and observe. Alright, we did not close below the bullish fair value gap. At this point in time, that makes me more interested in waiting for the inversion fair value gap setup here on NQ. So let's see what we do inside this bearish fair value gap. If we manage to push above it, after taking sell side liquidity. After retesting the VWAP, the midnight level is all the way down here. We filled in, or we tapped at least, both of the hourly fair value gaps. So let's see. Less interested in taking the short at the moment here on NQ. Why? Because my main targets were hit. Yes, it's still not showing that weakness. Plus the fact that I'm already in profit today, so I would be more interested to long this based on a bullish SMT instead of taking a loss trying to short this. Because the answer is not really clear if this is a long or a short. Still waiting to get that answer. See if we have any news coming in. Okay, we have pending home sales at 10. That's going to be in 18 minutes. Red folder news event, so I put some emphasis on it. Tomorrow we have core PCE price index at 8:30 and the Chicago PMI at 9:45. Okay, good to know. So red folder news at 10. We can see that longs on the cumulative volume data are stepping in and taking the lead, forming a new cumulative volume data high. But for me personally, it's gonna be the long, if anything, or the short on ES. The long on NQ or the short on ES. That's currently my thinking. We'll see. All right. What's your bias for this New York AM session? Are you bearish or bullish? Let me know in the chat. Would be interested. Would be curious to know. And Q is starting to push. Already closed above the inversion fair value gap on the 1 minute time frame. Volume is definitely long. Yellow. Yellow, yellow, yellow. "25 seconds to go." Yes, still respecting this 920 bullish fair value gap. But I think it's too early to make a definitive call or decision. Let's say based on where we're currently sitting at the high of day, just back above the previous day's low. I think lower prices are more likely, but we also have news at 10, so I'm not going to stress. We closed below the bullish fair value gap now, turning this into a inversion fair value gap. So that's our first bearish confluence after a SMT divergence on ES, but I'm going to be waiting for this 830 fair value gap to be inverted. Once I see that, I'm happy to take shorts into equal low sell side. But until then, I'm not going to touch it. Already in profit for the day, slowly recovering my drawdown that I unfortunately put myself in last Wednesday. Step by step, I have to take that like a man. All right. Really curious to see what kind of future funding challenges they're coming up with. Funding ticks. They hit it well. Profit target max drawdown, profit target max drawdown. Looks like two separate challenges, like one standard challenge and one expert challenge, if you ask me. With different kinds of profit targets and drawdowns, and yeah, looks like it. 1, 2. We'll see. Soon going to be released. When did I post that? On the 21st of May, 9 days ago. Well, we'll see. Definitely gonna grab an account with funding ticks. Depending on their rule set. That's very important for me. For everyone watching, what's your favorite funding firm at the moment? I mean, essentially, funding firms for me are just a means to an end. What funding firms, futures, or CFDs are you currently trading with, or do you trade your own funds? Let me know. Would be interested to know. Just write it in the chat so we can have a little bit of a conversation going. While we're waiting, we still have 7 minutes until the news event. Mm. You have Fund and Engineer and MPF. What's MP Fund? Haven't heard of them. MP Fund. I know Fund and Engineer. MP Fund. Hmm. Okay, interesting. In Singapore. I'm gonna check that out later. And 4% for phase one, so it's actually a little bit better in terms of simpleness on how much profit you have to achieve. Weekend holding is allowed. Fair enough, that makes perfect sense. 4% weekly payouts, that's also a big one. 5% daily loss, 10% maximum loss. Profit split of 80-20 for a similar. Perfect. What else do I want to know? I want to know about the available platforms. CTrader, okay. That's good, that's good. I thought they're going with MT5. My pocket funds. All right, okay, that's what MP stands for. No, that makes sense. What are spreads like? General information. That would be interesting to know. Memory of tree. What do you have to pay commissions if you trade indices? And what are the spreads like for indices? Okay, you have to pay commission. So I would assume that because you pay commission, spreads are lower than a prop firm where you don't have to pay commissions. So what's the spread like right now? If I check NQ right here on funding pips, I've got a spread of, well, you see, Euro US dollar has a fixed spread of 0, maybe sometimes 1. For Nasdaq, it's, well, acceptable. If I look at the 5-minute time frame, that's not going to make a major difference. On S&P, same thing essentially, small spread. Would you mind sending me a screenshot of what it currently looks like? Just go to the 5-minute time frame. I want to see the difference between bid and ask. Feel free to send it into the chat. We're still waiting for, okay, 1 more minute to wait until we get the news event. No worries. Take your time. Right, here goes the news candle. You can see ES is having an easier time to push. Still respecting the bullish fair value gap. Hasn't cleared sell side liquidity of any kind. On NQ, we haven't received the confirmation yet for the longs, so I'm still waiting. MP fund, let me add that to my list before I forget. When did they launch? I guess this year. All right, looking forward to it. Market structure shift on the 15 1 hour time frame. Filled in fair value gap. We haven't inverted the 1 hour fair value gap yet. We closed inside the 4 hour bearish while having filled in the one above us. We didn't close above it. Oh, where's the mask? Spread 14. Interesting. Well, I would have to try it out with the smallest account they offer, but so far nothing got even close to beating funding pip spreads for CFD accounts. That's why I'm still with them. Nothing really so far for this New York AM session. Just a lot of chop. We had this initial reaction. Yeah, but that's about all. Now I can see where you're coming from, Katja. 20 is 14 ticks during New York. Well, I would have to compare it. That's usually the approach that I take to make a definitive decision. I'm happy to look into it. CTrader, I'm fine with CTrader as well. Kati, to what you said, took 2 sells. I've been in the sell from right here on this candle at 905. We closed below this 5-minute bullish fair value gap after a consolidation and what I considered a manipulation up higher. But I closed the trade as well at break even, so my trade essentially looked like this. Stop loss at the high. Take profit target right here for a simple 1-to-1 risk to reward. It would have played out, but I didn't like the fact that I'm entering prior to the New York Open, and something like this, a stop hunt wick, could have very easily happened on NQ as well, and that's not what a professional risk manager does. So I decided to close the position with $2 in profit. For the week, we're up nicely as well, almost 2%, slowly recovering from, me losing it last week on Wednesday. So yeah, gaining back, we're at 49,253. Not in a rush, not really interested in taking shorts of this bearish fair value gap. I could see it play out, but I also could see it continue to chop. This morning's setup was much cleaner. If I look at the cumulative volume data, I think shorts are gaining the upper hand on the S&P 500. We have bearish SMT divergence between the cumulative volume data and NQ price. If anything, it's going to be the long of this inversion fair value gap or the short of this inversion fair value gap into sell side liquidity. Otherwise, I might just pass. I'm still practicing with it myself. Once I feel really comfortable in explaining it, I will make sure to record a video and talk more about it on the stream. Right now, I'm also still just experimenting with it, mainly using it for divergence, comparing highs, comparing lows, and seeing if volume is backing up a pump or not. So right here we saw lots of bullish volume, but price not really forming that higher high. So that's a divergence. Yeah, and that's about all. All I'm really using it for, it's not an entry criteria for me. I'm still just using it for confluence. And 10. Let's see if we get the close below on ES. The only thing I would be using it for is that we can obviously see that volume, the data, accumulated volume data is more short than it's long. And now that's lining up for the first time. Let's see. Let's see. If we even get an entry opportunity or if we're just going to run into all our sell side targets without giving us the inversion fair value gap entry. If that might happen, I'm okay with it too, like I said. Made my profit for the day. And I'm not really a fan of entering on this bearish fair value gap, sitting through chop for, essentially 30 minutes. I prefer to save myself from that kind of unnecessary trouble. And that's even, all right. There goes the sell side target. Unfortunate. Both the S and NQ just hit the midnight level and cleared all sell side liquidity here. That means I'm not going to enter short anytime soon. We still have the low of day and the previous week's low below us on NQ. But I've been hoping for, well, to be honest, looking at both charts at the same time might not have helped in this scenario. Seeing ES pump, 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 pump. NQ, no, no good. Everything is the right memory of tree. Don't worry. What I was saying is that I'm gonna wait a little bit longer. Watch and observe. Opportunity was there to short the 5-minute bearish towards the midnight level for a 2-to-1 risk to reward. But, well, at the time, this didn't really look like it's continuing. Well, it looked like it could continue lower, but it also looked like it could continue higher. Nothing definitive. We had our market structure shift, yes. So based on that, we should be fine. But we also had bullish SMT divergence, uncleared buy side liquidity targets, and that's what led me to not take the short right here towards the midnight level. Let's take a look at the 1-minute time frame here on ES. Well, also ugly. Unfilled volume imbalance. Interesting. Let's see if we get something at around 10:30. really. I look at the Asian session range most of the times during the London session, but after that I just look at the overall picture it creates and make decisions based on that. All 1 hour fair value gaps have been filled in. What's the time? It's 10:20. Could be looking at a potential reversal at around 10:30. Mostly not interested in ES anymore. After we run out of sell side liquidity, I'm just gonna follow along on NQ and see if I can spot a potential opportunity. If not, then, well, that's fine as well. Hope that answered your question, memory of tree. There are many ways of doing it. If you like to do it looking at price using the Asia session range by using, for example, standard deviations of it to measure how far we've extended above the Asia session range, 0.5 and 1 standard deviation to the tick. That's perfectly fine. Whatever works essentially. There's no right or wrong. But I personally don't use it. Uh, yeah, I agree. Both are very likely. That's why I haven't engaged yet. Keep in mind that not taking a trade isn't a bad thing necessarily. It means you can control yourself from taking silly trades just to be in a trade. And well, you just know when it's not a good time to take a trade. And that's also a very important skill to master to become a consistently profitable trader, in my opinion, and from personal experience. Don't put pressure on yourself saying that, well, I haven't taken a trade yet, what am I doing? Blah, blah, blah. Well, if the opportunity isn't there, or if you feel like, if your judgment says that the risk is too high, then just stick to that and don't trade until maybe later throughout your timing window that opportunity presents itself. Well, yes, the 15-minute time frame so far is looking pretty bearish. We have that relative equal low sell side liquidity. I'm just not willing to go with the shorts at this point in time. We're still forming our opening range. Gonna be waiting for 10:30 to show me its hand. Three minutes to go. Forty seconds to go. Looks like we're still respecting the 5-minute fair value gap. Same thing goes for ES. That's all right. Sometimes we also have to develop that type of patience while becoming profitable traders. Sometimes it's just not the right time, or you just don't feel comfortable with taking risks. And then you have to be cool with sitting in silence and just sitting there by yourself, focusing and only engaging if you think it's the right time to engage. This is not that's not supposed to be an entertainment stream to keep you well entertained while trading. That's not the idea. And yes, sometimes trading is boring. Definitely is. $10.30 continues lower. Interesting. 1 minute time frame. 25 minutes to go. 15-minute time frame keeps being bearish. Retested the 15-minute inversion fair value gap. This could have been a potential confluence. I didn't really look at that. Right here we close below, we come back to retest it. If we look at that on a 5-minute time frame, we had the 15-minute bearish paired with the 5-minute bearish right here as confluence. Well, it's all right. If we hit the low of the day, that's going to be the end for the live stream for me and for my trading today. Being content with the London session longs. Just didn't feel right for me at that time. Don't really know what else to say. I mean, before starting the live stream, I entered short right here. But for some reason, well, it didn't give me that feeling of, well, confidence in the shorts. But yeah, that's about it. There's no specific or solid reason why I didn't engage short. Could have engaged short right here and right here. Also would have had some nice higher time frame confluence with this inversion fair value gap on the 15. Well, guess I wasn't ready enough, or well, not really felt like engaging today. See if we can close below the midnight opening. Taking a look at ES. NQ formed a lower low. ES tapped the midnight level right here and is rejecting, so that's minor SMT divergence. We now close below this 5-minute bullish fair value gap for the first time. Let's see. Yeah, exactly. My gut this morning said longs. I took my 2-to-1 risk reward longs to the VWAP, happy, and then it kept continuing higher. Nice, that just confirmed my good gut feeling. Prior to the New York Open, my gut feeling told me, well, consolidation, manipulation, higher time frame fair value gaps filled in, shorts are likely the way to go. but closed the shorts just before the New York opening with little bits of profit due to the fact that the New York Open oftentimes brings volatility, and it's unnecessary for me to get stop hunted, and then we continue lower anyway. So I hope for a better short entry opportunity. I think looking at ES at the same time might not have helped. Then we had news at 10 a.m. seeing that consolidation above the VWAP. If anything, this would have been a short entry that well, if we talk about it, should potentially have taken. Just back to the midnight level or to a new low for a 1.4 risk reward. If we would have closed above this bearish fair value gap, I would have closed my position as well. We had a nice 15-minute inversion fair value gap as additional confluence, and we could leave a runner to the low of day draw on liquidity and potentially the previous week's low, which is the overall draw on liquidity, very likely for rest of the day, right, sitting here at 18,621. If we go to the daily time frame, essentially this low right here, last week Thursday's low, filled in the 4-hour bearish, filled in this 4-hour bearish, continuing lower, looking pretty good, but I missed the opportunity, which is fine, it happens. Got the opportunity long, missed the short. Let's take a look at the 1-minute time frame. Yeah, it's all right. Kati, did you take some shorts? I see your typing, so and there goes the low of today. Next target would be the previous week's low, and that's also going to be it for me today. The S&P could still offer that opportunity because it didn't deliver into the previous day, into the low of the day just yet. Fair enough. Carfio. I think we had the same issue today. Not really sure or 100% confident to enter on live accounts. Can you tell me what times for Asia session to mark highs and lows? I personally draw the Asia session starting at 8 p.m. New York local time until the midnight opening right here. That's my Asia session range, this 4-hour timing window. that's just what I use. There's no 100% guarantee that, well, that's exactly the Asia session range. You could be drawing it from 6 p.m. essentially all the way till 2 p.m. until, well, the first European market opens up in London. So it's really up to your personal preference. But I use 8 p.m. until New York local time midnight. And we go lower, 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 lower. After we closed below it on ES, we came back to perfectly retest bearish or the inversion fair value gap. Like I said, looks like I haven't really been ready to risk anything on my Funding Pips account today, so why should I do it now? That's going to be the end for today's live stream, guys. I make sure I close my charts. Do we have any questions left? If so, feel free to ask now.